Oh.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Daily Premier League podcast. It's Wednesday, the 8th of October. It's early in the morning. It feels very early. My name's Ken Davis. His name is Nick Britton. And a very warm welcome to everybody, wherever you may be, who makes the Daily Premier League podcast part of their daily routine. Good morning, Nick. How are you feeling this fine Wednesday morning?
A very fine morning to you, Ken. I'm very wealthy. I'm very well. I'm not very wealthy. I'm certainly not that. I'm very well. Thank you very much is what I meant to say. Yeah, it always feels like missing football already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by now you're thinking about the weekend's games, aren't you? You're thinking about the weekend's games.
Yeah, some great games. No, there isn't.
Yeah.
England v Wales on Thursday night.
Yeah. Dull.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you this? Why are, when England and UEFA sort of seem so far behind the rest of the world when it comes to qualifying? Qualifying around the rest of the world is either in its latter stages or finished. UEFA is miles behind. Why are England playing a friendly on Thursday night? Well, there should be no friendlies at this stage.
It's not a friendly, is it? It's a qualification game, isn't it?
I thought it was a friendly.
I thought
the second one, Latvia, was a...
I think it's a UEFA qualification game.
No, it's not. I'm sure it's a friendly against Wales and then a qualification game against Latvia.
Oh, it could be. Could be. I need to check.
Yeah.
Check.
It's an Alzheimer's Society kind of game, sponsored game against Wales.
Oh, yes, you're right. It's just a friendly. You're right.
So my question to you, again, seeing as you doubted me the first time, is why are England playing a friendly at this moment in time when there's still qualification games to be played?
I don't know. It's crazy. And all the other, as we do the Road to World Cup podcast, by the way, you need to listen to that if you've got any interest in World Cup. It's the best, only, and by far the greatest World Cup podcast in the world. All the other confederations of FIFA are finished or virtually finished, and there's a load more games this week. And essentially, we're going to know exactly who's going to be qualified. Come on, Cape Verde, by the way.
We are. We're all back in Cape Verde, aren't we?
Come on, Cape. Come on, the Verde.
Do you think if we write to the Cape Verde Prime Minister or President or whoever it might be and say, look, we've been backing Cape Verde for ages and ages and ages, he'll give us free holiday?
I reckon we'll become the media correspondents of the Cape Verde government and get free pass to the World Cup. Worth a try.
Yeah, we could go as part of the Cape Verde delegation, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
You might end up getting a game.
Yeah. So anyway, it looks like they're going to qualify. Anyway, so this is like part two to the episode we released on Monday, which is another dig, a rummage. And Nick loves a rummage around the postbag. He was rummaging at the bottom of the postbag, came up with three more questions from our dear listeners. So we're going to get to them. And they're quite interesting questions, as they always are, to be honest. But before we get to that, there's a couple of things just to mention news-wise. Brooklyn Eric has officially withdrawn from the takeover of Spurs. There's when you express an interest, particularly in the US, on takeovers, you have a certain deadline to which to confirm that you're actually going to go ahead with it. That deadline has passed. He's confirmed he's not going to go ahead with it. So it all looks like it's as you wear for Spurs now because they've rebuffed a number of these things now.
Yes, there was a lot of speculation, wasn't there, after Daniel Levy left, and left in such kind of strange circumstances, i.e. very, very suddenly and very unexpectedly. And everybody kind of thought, well, is this paving the way for a sale of Spurs? But to be fair to Bioniq, to be fair to the Lewis family, they have said robustly from that moment on, we are not for sale, we are not for sale. And we've had 3 or 4 suitors now, and they've all been knocked back. And what this sort of formal recognition of not putting in a bid means they can't now put a bid in for another 6 months. So, as you say, it seems to be very, very straightforward now at Tottenham. They're not going to be sold. Lewis's word, good for their word, all that media speculation around, actually, no, all this stuff's going on behind the scenes and they're just, somebody will come in with a strong bid and it'll get done. Doesn't seem to be the case at all. And it seems that actually they are properly rebuffing offers. So it very much looks like now the Tottenham are not for sale.
Very much looks that way. I just wonder if people got wind of the fact that Levy was leaving and said, well, here's our opportunity just to test the water, tested the water, got rebuffed. Okay, it's kind of as you were.
I
So
think it's undoubtedly that. It's undoubtedly that. Look, they may have had some information that encouraged them at the time. We don't know, but it's very consistent, isn't it? From Enoch, it's very consistent from the Lewis family, and I don't think anybody's in any doubt now what their position might be.
yeah, I think that's true. And of course, Tottenham are quite a attractive proposition, I think, particularly for the US. I mean, they've obviously got an amazing stadium. They're right up there again this year. I can imagine that if you're a suitor, you are looking at the Premier League teams and thinking, yeah, they've got potential to be a huge acquisition. So I can quite understand why they're of interest.
Well, one of the things you get with Tottenham that you don't get with pretty much every other Premier League club is you're not buying a load of debt. They're a profitably very well run club with fantastic facilities in terms of stadium, in terms of training. They are a ready-made club. They're kind of ready-made for a sale. So where the money comes from, i.e. the Middle East or America, I can imagine they're an extremely attractive proposition.
Yeah, well, maybe it'll come back, this story. I've got a feeling it will, but certainly won't be for the foreseeable future. The second point, I was just casting my eyes over some of the comments in the Premier League over the last couple of days. Wayne Rooney, who now, if you like, has rediscovered himself as a football pundit, commenting on Mo Salah, and specifically talking about his work ethic. He was pointing to the game against Chelsea, where he just wasn't tracking back. He was kind of watching, in his words, while his fullback was being torn apart against Chelsea. Actually, has Rooney put his finger on something here? One of the things that we've pointed out in the last few weeks is about Liverpool's issues at fullback. Actually, are part of those issues to do with the fact they're not getting the support from their front wide men that in the modern game you kind of have to provide.
I think in the modern game, you're right. It is expected that your forward players don't just stand there when the ball is in your defensive half and wait for it to come to you. If they're wide men, they are expected to help out in some way. And it's indicative of Salah's performances so far because he just hasn't been in games. I mean, he's got a couple of goals, a couple of assists, but he just hasn't really been in games. Now, I was trying to think when I read that, is a natural part of Mo Salah's game to track back? Or has he always been like this?
He's always been like that, I suspect.
Yeah. So you could probably turn around and go, well, he's done nothing different. He's just playing his normal game, and he's never, ever done this. So it's not like he's suddenly down tools and isn't really trying very hard. Equally, you might want to say that it's not really a great team play, is it, when you can see your fullback struggling so much, and you might want to drop in and give him a helping hand, because Liverpool have been ripped to shreds pretty much down the flanks in certain games at certain points. And I'd imagine the fullbacks are looking up the pitch and going, come on, mate, I could do with a bit of help here.
I think that's exactly what is happening. The other thing, of course, is that Salah, 33 now, there just seems to have been a tiny bit of spark lost from his game. And obviously he signed a big contract over summer. There has been a slight change, I think, in his kind of mentality. I just think tracking back, doing your shift is kind of, okay, if you're not scoring goals, at least do that. It just shows effort, shows a kind of commitment, shows a being part of the cause. That if you're not scoring a lot of goals, maybe you can build on that and kind of build your confidence back up that way. But
there are probably very few players in Premier League, or indeed anywhere in the world. There are probably very few players who could get away with it. Who they're not doing their primary function, which is create and score. And you might argue, look, we've had 7 league games. And Salah scored a couple and got a couple of assists, so he's doing his job. But there are very few players who wouldn't be able to get away with it. But I think Salah's one of them. I don't think the Liverpool fans will be looking at him going, "You're not contributing, mate. You're not tracking about. You're not doing this. You're not doing that." Because they love him. They absolutely love him. They'll let him get away with anything, and with some justification, I should add, given his record there over the years. I think it's. Look, I know Rooney's got to say these kind of outlandish things because he's building a career for himself. He's got this new media job, and his media profile's growing quite a lot at the moment, and people are keen to hear what he's got to say. That's fine. So part of that, with that comes saying controversial things because it gets easy headlines. It gets people like you and me talking about it a lot. And he may have a point. He may
I think
have.
he does. I think he does. To be fair to him, I think he does. And I just get the impression, by the way, that I think the mood music is changing a bit with Salah, with Liverpool fans. I see, when I see some of the comments on the games, I just get an impression it's shifting a bit.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's always this kind of deal around when Salah's contract is up, isn't there? And there's always this kind of hand wringing, and it goes on for months and months and months and months. And the Liverpool fans are absolutely desperate. I mean, I remember when it raised its head last year, the GSPN Daily Liverpool podcasters here at Global Sports Podcast Network. By the way, if you are a Liverpool fan, give that a listen. Search the Daily Liverpool up on Spotify or YouTube. They were just giving whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Give him whatever he wants. It doesn't matter. Give him whatever money he wants, whatever the keys to the city, whatever he wants. Just give it to him.
Duration. The issue was the duration. Was it going to be a 3-year contract? Was it going to be a 1-year contract? 2 years? Anyway, it's an interesting developing story. That I think it's what
it is. No, it is. I should say actually about Wayne Rooney. What things you've touched upon him. I'm quite glad that he is building a career in the media. I think I'm really quite pleased for him because I worked with him for about a year at Derby when he was manager at Derby, and talking to him, I mean, his managerial skills, you might want to call into question given his record, but talking to him, you could do it all day, all night. His knowledge of football and his analysis of games, and even when he was manager at Derby, you listened to his post-match, his analysis of games was always spot on. And you could talk to him about football just for his knowledge of football, and more importantly, his understanding of it is unbelievable.
Well, that's
unbelievable.
That's an interesting thing to hear, actually. So, as Wayne Rooney knows, in football, it pays to get your team selection right. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery partner, and we chose Zencastr because Zencastr makes it easy to bring your vision to life, share it with your audience wherever they may be. It's got 4K video recording, it's got AI editing, it's got top-tier distribution tools, and they're all in one place. Absolutely amazing. So if you've got a story to tell it with Zencastr. Check the show notes for more detail.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
I can't believe it. It's 12 minutes. 12 minutes into this. We haven't even started the postbag. Right. Nick's been rummaging, as I mentioned earlier. 3 questions. We're going to have to deal with them fairly quickly if we're going to get this done in 30 minutes. First one from Alison in Bedford. With England set to play Wales in a friendly on Thursday night, who would be your first 11 choices for the England team? Forget about injuries at this point. I think she's looking ahead to the World Cup. So what's your top England team? I think the first thing to ask, Nick, is what formation are you playing?
4-2-3-1.
Yeah, we agree.
Which kind of morphs into a 4-1-4-1 in possession.
Yeah, I kind of get that. Okay, right. I'm going to come back to that little tactical switch. Who's in goal, Nick? We'll go through it all together and see if we agree.
Jordan Pickford.
Agreed. No question. I think he's England's
number
one.
There's nobody. Look, Dean Henderson's having a fantastic season at Palace, and he is a very, very able number 2. But Pickford's done nothing to suggest that he doesn't deserve the shirt.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, back 4. I've got Reece James, Konsa, Gahey, Livramento, the back 4 that played against Serbia, and obviously that was an extremely good performance. Anything you change on that? Konsa, Gahey.
Yeah, I don't know. Now the problem is with the left back. Now I would have said if we'd had this conversation 3 months ago, I would have said Lewis Skelly's the perfect left back.
He's not getting enough games.
He's not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing at Arsenal. So that then opens the door. Now Tino Livramento had a very, very good under-21 tournament in the summer. Of course, England under-21s won that tournament. And he's back in the team, although he's injured at the moment, but he's back in the team at Newcastle. I can't think of anybody better at the moment.
I agree.
I can't think of anybody better. So, yeah, I'll go Livramento at left back. Mark Gahey definitely nailed on 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who his partner is,
Stones?
The problem with Stones is that he's forever injured and he hasn't played regularly for 2 years now? Is that right?
I wouldn't have Stones.
No, Stones is not. I mean, I know he's back in the England squad for this couple of games now, but I wouldn't necessarily have him in. I think maybe his time has passed and you can't rely on him. You can't rely on him being fit. I know you said like injuries aside, but you've got to be realistic as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise I'd have Terry Butcher back in there. I don't know who. I mean, you can make the case for Quansah. You can make the case for Harry Maguire. You can make the case for Dan Burn. You can make the case for Ezri Konsa at Aston Villa. To be honest, I just don't know. If I had to pick the team right here, right now, for the World Cup, this is a World Cup team, yeah?
We're playing the first World Cup game in America on Thursday night. You've got to pick the team.
Probably Jarrell Quansah from Bayer Leverkusen.
Okay.
Or Dan Burn from Newcastle. One of those two.
Not Konsa.
Because I think they've both had really good seasons and they're both playing very well.
Interesting.
And Burn's got a lot of experience. And I think it's
coming off the back of a 5-0 victory in Serbia, you're changing the back four.
Yeah. Because this is World Cup we're talking about. Okay. I'm having players in my team who aren't even in the squad at the moment.
They're playing New Caledonia in the first game. They're playing New Caledonia in the first game now.
Well, we don't know that. We could be playing Brazil in the first game.
Yeah, that's true. I doubt it.
So who have you got in there, by the way? Who have you got?
I've got Livramento, Gahey, Konsa, and Reece James right back.
Ezri Konsa from Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's nothing. That's absolutely right. I think Gahey's absolutely nailed on. I think the others are just at the moment. I don't think there's much between Jarrell Konsa or Ezri Konsa or Dan Burn. I think any of those.
The only thing that occurred to me.
By the way, sort of on the left back side, I think Jed Spence had a great season.
Yeah, he did. Fullbacks are still iffy.
I think they are because when I'm looking at my right back, I'm going
for everyone at the moment. What about Trent? What about Trent?
This is it. I'm not 100% sold on Reece James, if I'm brutally honest with you, and I kind of probably was until I saw him play against Andorra. Trent maybe, but he's not really. I think everybody understands now he's not really a right back, is he? I don't know. I mean, Carl Walker's back playing in the Premier League, but I think his time's passed. Yeah. I think it'd be Reece James, yeah.
I think it'd be Reece James. Okay, move ahead. So we've got the two holding midfielders. Rice is an absolute nailed on. I would personally go over and nail him onto it.
You wouldn't be able to get him down the pitch. If you nailed him onto it, he wouldn't be able to get up and down the pitch, would he? He'd just
need to.
He'd be flapping in the wind going, can somebody take these nails out of me so I could run around?
And that's fine. Just needs to direct the traffic, protect the back four. Elliot Anderson done nothing wrong. Looks decent player. So I've got Anderson and Rice as two holding midfielders. What about you?
50% agree with you. Yeah, Declan Rice without a shadow of a doubt. I prefer him to be not nailed on anything, if I'm honest with you. But he can push on. My holding midfielder is Adam Wharton.
Yeah,
I think he's the best. I think he's one of the best in the Premier League. I can't believe he's not in the squad. I literally cannot believe he's not in the squad for these two games. Elliot Anderson has staked his claim and played really well in the last two games, but I think Wharton's just a better player.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good debate, that one. And just going, if we're moving to a 4-1-4-1 mid game, which we needed to, is it Rice you'd be pushing forward?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It wouldn't be Wharton.
Yeah.
Rice, and he can just sit. Anderson, I think, gets forward a bit more probably than Wharton does. I would like, if we're releasing Rice, even against New Caledonia, I'd like one midfielder to stay vaguely in position.
Yeah,
and I think Wharton's perfect at that.
Okay, yeah, there's a toss up between those two. Right, I'm going to move right out to the front because I don't think there's any debate about this. We're playing Kane at 9, aren't we?
Much to my delight and your dismay, yes.
Yeah, we're playing Kane at 9. We've got to do that now, and therefore we're left with the three attacking midfielders. Now, talk about embarrassment of riches. I was like scratching my head on this for when because obviously I got to see the letter. I came up with Saka on the right, Bellingham in the middle, Eze on the left. What say you?
Well, that's exactly what I started with.
Okay.
That's exactly what I started with. But Eze's being used at a 10 at Arsenal, and everybody thinks that's his best position. I think he's not a traditional winger. He's somebody who will pick up the ball. I like him best when he can pick up the ball from deep and run with it. I think that's when he's dangerous. He's not, you don't want him playing high up with his back to goal or anything like that. You want him dropping and creating.
Yeah.
So do we have him at a 10? In which could do Saka absolutely on the right, no problem about that. There's an issue about Bellingham. I'm not 100% sold. I should be sold, but I'm not 100% sold on him. So
Tuchel seems singularly unimpressed with Bellingham.
Yeah.
On paper, Bellingham's the best player we got.
On paper, but the game isn't played on paper. It's played on grass. So yeah, on paper he is. But there's something going on, and I don't know what it is. There's something going on. His performances haven't been great in England shirt. He's popped up with some important goals, but his performances haven't been great recently. So yeah, have we got hungrier players? Not necessarily younger, but hungrier players out there? Maybe. Foden's coming back into the fold after a very good start of the season for Manchester City, and that's
Rashford.
That'll be great. I think Rashford's a backup. Yeah. I don't think Rashford's a starter.
Cole Palmer, Grealish.
Well, Grealish is forcing his way back in, which is a really interesting one. Cole Palmer absolutely is in the thinking. So take your pick. But I mean, strangely, are any of them what I would call left? I don't want to call them left wingers because they're not left wingers, are they?
No, they're not out and out left wingers.
So probably you're right.
Played on the left, doesn't he?
Probably Saka on the left, Eze on the right, and then if I'm honest, if I had to play, if the World Cup started tomorrow and everybody's fit, I'm putting Cole Palmer in at 10.
Ahead of Bellingham.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's it. So we've picked our. We're not miles off. We agree on the structure. We pretty much agree on the key things, but. There's a lot of places up for grabs, and of course, 7 games to go or gone in the Premier League. There's still plenty of time for, hey, remember we were talking about Morgan Gibbs-White and Loftus-Cheek and all these guys? I haven't even mentioned those guys. Okie dokie. So that was question 1. It's a really good question. Thank you, Alison Bedford, for that. By the way, Global Sports Podcast Network is partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements, because your body is unique, and because without knowing what your actual deficiencies are, if you take off the shelf supplements, you might be getting not enough of the ones you need, nutrients-wise, and too many of the ones you don't need. So Bioniq very cleverly provides 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels. So click the link on the show notes, use the code GSPN 2025. You'll get a 40% discount off your first order.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Okay, question 2 from the postman from Marco in Bologna. What so far, Nick, has been your match of the season and why? We've seen an awful lot of games, about 70, I suppose. Over the course of it would be exactly 70, I wasn't even thinking about it. What's been your favourite game so far? Why was it? And tell us all about it.
Well, there are 2 that really, 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 really stood out, I think. They both involve Liverpool.
Oh, dear. Don't pick the one I've got.
Well, the one I've gone for is the opening game of the season where Liverpool played Bournemouth, because I think it set the tone for how this season is playing out, which is madness, chaos, and very, very late goals. And that seems to have kind of set the theme for the Premier League this season.
And a frailer Liverpool, a Liverpool that concedes.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw in that game. So it was the opening game of the Premier League. It was on the 15th of August. It had a start for the Summers at that time, in brackets, big summer signing for Liverpool, Hugo Ekitike, and everybody's wondering how he's going to come in. And by the way, when we talk, I don't think we've done a thing on sort of summer transfer players who have really hit the ground running, but he is one of them. There haven't been many, but he's definitely been one of them. Yeah. And so we're interested to see how he was getting on, and all seemed well for Liverpool in what many sort of expect on I think it was a Friday night game. Many might expect to be a fairly routine opener against Bournemouth. When the fixture list comes out and you go, right, what's your first game? Home to Bournemouth. You go, yeah, okay, I'll take that. If you're Liverpool.
Bournemouth lost a load of players. Yeah. I think they lost the manager. It was going to be...
No, they didn't lose the manager. You're thinking of Brentford. Right. No, Bournemouth hadn't, but they had lost their entire back line pretty much.
Yeah,
they lost 4 out of 5.
Back line.
Doing the goalkeeper. Had all gone.
4-0, 5-0. Liverpool. Salah gets a hat-trick.
It kind of had that feel to it. And now, that's no disrespect to Bournemouth, because if you are a team in the lower half of the table, an opening game at home to Bournemouth isn't easy. But if you're Liverpool, you would expect to win that game. And all seemed well. So Ekitike hits the ground running with the opening goal after 37 minutes. Everybody's going, yay, 1-0 at half time. Cody Gakpo, you would think at that stage when he scores on 49 minutes, that's the game put to bed. You kind of think, we're 5 minutes to the second half, we're 2-0 up, we're at home, we are, we're going to just roll this over. With the reigning Premier League champions. We're going to roll this game over, and
everyone thought that game over.
Everyone's going to be happy. And then enter stage left Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah, what a player! Talking about players of the season.
Well, absolutely. We talked about this the other day, didn't we? Our best players of the season so far, and Semenyo's very much top of my list.
Oh, he's great.
And it's interesting, sort of knowing what we know now, because we didn't know this at the start of the season, but knowing what we know now, how good Semenyo's been, how good Bournemouth have been, but we didn't know at the time. Anyway, he rolls up with an absolute storming goal, an absolute blockbuster of a goal on 64 to put it back in the mixer, and then lo and behold, with 14 minutes to go, he equalises, and everybody's like, "What is going on?
Yeah.
Literally, what is happening?" And of course, this fixture is set against the backdrop of a supporter racially abusing him earlier on in the game. Mm-hmm. And the supporter gets ejected at half time. To be honest, I've not heard about what's happened to that, actually. I must chase that up to find out what the outcome of all of that was in terms of what's happened to the supporter, because he should have been banned for life, and I hope that he has. Mm-hmm. So suddenly you've got Semenyo on fire, Bournemouth on fire, Liverpool 2-0 up, now it's 2-2, and you're thinking, right, I've got no idea which way this game's going to go. But we also know that Liverpool are the masters of late goals, and they have been for quite certainly the last couple of seasons. And predictably, I suppose some might say, substitute Federico Chiesa nets on 88 minutes to put them 3-2 up, and then Mo Salah completes the job on 95. So it finishes 4-2. It's a game that shows that the Premier League is going to be very, very exciting this season. It's got everything, loads of stuff in it. It's got Ekitike, the big summer signing, hitting the ground running with a goal, and he's carried that on. It's got Liverpool's frailties at 2-0 up, back to 2-2. That's carried on, as we know. It's got Semenyo for Bournemouth. That's carried on. He starred in pretty much every game he's played at. It's got Bournemouth showing that they can compete in the Premier League, because they look the better team for quite some periods of that second half, and they've carried it on. And of course, we've got late goals from Liverpool, and up until a couple of weeks ago, that was the hallmark of their season. So for that reason, for setting the tone of the season in all those ways, I've gone for Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2.
Yeah, that's a great choice. It was a fantastic start to the season, and it did show us, now we know, some of the trends which were going to become part of our conversation throughout. And in fact, my choice, which was again a Liverpool game, Newcastle 2, Liverpool 3, was a very similar game, really, in many ways. And we were all saying at the end of both of those games, that's what champions are made of. That's what champions are made of. They stick with it. I mean, Liverpool unbeatable. They've just got that determination. They've got that edge. They've got that undeniable belief that they're going to win, and eventually, guess what? They'll win. Now, we know now that actually that was papered over a few cracks that have started to become fairly major fissures in the course of the last few weeks. But of course, I'm referring, by the way, to Newcastle 2, Liverpool 3. And one of the things that really kind of stands out on that game, this was a game played in Newcastle, obviously, and that's a pretty ferocious atmosphere to play in. It's particularly ferocious with all the hostility around the controversy about Alexander Isak's move to Liverpool. That had just happened. Obviously, he'd been sitting out really at Newcastle. There's a lot of bad feeling about that, really. And it was this cauldron. And guess what? Just like in the Bournemouth game, Liverpool took a 2-0 lead, Gravenberch and Ekitike again. Everyone thinks, well, that's silenced it. They're going to run away with this one. It's going to be another 4-0. But it isn't. Gimenez scores. Asula scores for Newcastle, makes it 2-2. Anthony Gordon gets sent off for a daft challenge. And then Ngumoa, wasn't it? Who scored that amazing goal. Again, 90 plus 3 minutes or something around that time. to win it for Liverpool.
It was later. It was like 97 minutes.
Yeah, it was
No,
crazy.
it was 98. I think it was 98, wasn't it? It was 98. It was right. It was right at the end of the game. It was literally almost the last kick of the game.
It was crazy late, and everyone again was saying, "Hey, that's what champions are made of." But actually, the real story is Liverpool are get-atable, particularly down the flanks. And I think in these early games, teams have worked Liverpool out a bit. And no one would ever think we'd be saying that 5 games ago. Teams are working Liverpool out, and it's going to become. I think this is a theme that she's going to rumble and continue for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it may well do. It may well do. I think. It's going to be interesting. Look, if Arne Slot gets the summer signings working, so Frimpong on the right, Kirkes on the left, Wirtz at 10, then Liverpool will be a real team to stop. They will probably be, but there's no sign of it at the moment. There's no sign of it at the moment.
No sign of it, and we're going to come to that, I think, in the last bit of this. By the way, if you want to send us your letters or mail or thoughts or anything, abuse even, daily Premier League podcast at gmail.com. As we're doing in this episode, we're very happy to go through. Nick loves a rummage, as we know, and he'll grab your message from the bottom of the postbag and we'll cover it at some point. Final question. Let's wrap this up in the next few minutes. Dan from Houston in Texas. Welcome, Dan. Regarding managers, which manager has impressed you most so far this season and which one has been most disappointing, Nick?
Well, there are several contenders for managers who have impressed me most. There's quite a lot. There's quite a lot going on. I think that Thomas Frank has gone into Tottenham and done a very, very, very good job. We were talking the other day about Regis Lebris at Sunderland, who took them up from the Championship last season and has got off to a very, very good start in the Premier League. We know about Oliver Glasner at Palace, and he won the FA Cup last year, he won the Charity Shield this year. Only on Saturday, in that very late, somewhat fortuitous goal for Everton by Jack Grealish, did Palace's 19-game unbeaten run come to an end.
Lovely goal.
And look at the brilliant job he's done there in the backdrop of losing his, arguably his best player over the summer in Eze to Arsenal. So all of those have, I think, got a very good claim for being manager of the Premier League thus far. I'm going to go for Andoni Iraola at Bournemouth. I think as my top pick, because I just think they have gone through in the summer, and we mentioned it a moment ago, an enormous amount of change and flux, and they lost 3 key defenders. They lost their goalkeeper, and he's managed to get them playing in a way that's got them 4th in the Premier League. And not only 4th in the Premier League, but looking really, really good, to the point that when they played Newcastle the other week and drew 0-0, I was quite annoyed because I turned on expecting to see a really good, free-flowing Bournemouth team, and that's kind of what they've been. His ability to motivate, his ability to organise, his ability to just get players pressing and running, and then the Bournemouth players are first in some of the stats, about running and about sprinting and about pressing and about winning the ball back high. 7 games, 4 victories and 2 draws, has them on 14 points, which is great. They've been hovering around kind of the bottom end of European places for the last couple of seasons. I wonder if this is the year where they might sneak into the Conference League or even better, Europa League. We've seen with Nottingham Forest last season that teams can do it outside of the established, what I'll call bigger clubs. He has to manage a. I mean, they are an unfashionable club, so you're not going to get the big money signings. They play in front of 12,000 people at the Vitality. Is about the capacity. So I think he's done an unbelievable job, and like Glasner, he will go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. He has been, given the resources, given what he inherited, given their outperformance, Areola, I think anyone can argue with that. A couple of people just to give, I think, honourable mentions to that we haven't really mentioned. I quite like the work that David Moyes is doing at Everton. Everton
100%.
look,
Yeah,
Ev-
100%.
Everton look much more solid, much more confident, much more assertive, much more front foot team than they've looked in for a long time. So Moyes, hats off to you. Always rated Moyes as a manager. And the other one I suppose we should mention is Arteta. I mean, look, Arsenal do for me. I mean, he's got all the resources in the world, Arteta, but Arsenal look like champions to me. And I
Yeah,
think
but look,
it's given them a little bit. I just think they've got more belief than anybody else at the moment.
until he wins something, I think it's very difficult because Arteta is, as you say, he's got loads of resource. He's got all the backing. He's been there for 5 years now. He hasn't won anything of value other than the FA Cup, and yet they're top of the table at the moment. But we don't know whether they are going to stay there. I think the performance against Liverpool, when it was a game where they could go to Anfield and give them a real game, they just didn't.
No,
They went with a very, very negative performance.
they did against Man United first game of the season. Real
Yeah,
smash grab job, wasn't it?
yeah, absolutely. They really struggled to get anything at home against Manchester City. They needed a 94th minute equaliser. So, no, I can't agree with you on Arteta, I don't think. I think the jury's out until he actually achieves something. But David Moyes, certainly. I too am a big fan of David Moyes. And, West Ham fans, be careful what you wish for here because they hounded him out of the club. And now look at him.
Away now.
Now look at him. And he was always a good fit for Everton going back. I think he was the right man at the right time for Everton because they were facing a relegation battle and there's no way they could have been relegated to start their new season in the Championship. That would have been really hard and awful. And he's not only sort of made sure that they were going to start their life in the new stadium in the Premier League, he's got them playing very, very well. As I say, more attacking. I think bringing in Grealish is a masterstroke, and they're sitting 8th in the table, and it's not often we can say that about Everton.
No, and they look very solid in defence as well. So that's good. Couple of underperforming, let's say, couple of D minuses or Ds on their half term report. Obviously, Graham Potter's gone. Obviously, that wasn't working at West Ham. We'll move on from that. Ange obviously is having a torrid time, which we hate to see. Not. Oh, by the way, apologies. Ange is Greek. He was born in Athens, but he's from Anatolia. He's from Turkey. Their whole family was because Postacoglu's a Turkish name, but they are.
I will accept your apology.
Thank you.
By the way, I meant to mention. Sorry, before we move on, I meant to mention there was a great story a couple of days ago about because I was talking about Areola at Bournemouth. There was a great story about him. So obviously, international break now. Bournemouth plays Saturday. Sunday morning, he was running the line at an under-11 girls' game, like on the park. I presume is a relative or is somebody who's involved playing, but. Yeah, he turned up and gladly took the flag and ran the line. Well, I love that. I mean, that is amazing.
He's a saint. So I've made a note of two. We've taken Ange out and we've taken Graham Potter out of the equation. Vitor Pereira, Wolves. We liked his appointment last year. They did a good job with him, but this year they just seem lightweight. They seem vulnerable. They just don't seem to be the team they were last year. I think they're in extreme peril. And to be honest, it just doesn't look like they're going to come out of that. So I put Pereira certainly down there. He's disappointed me. The other one that I've got written down on his slot.
Don't say it. Oh, on his slot. Oh, okay, right. Okay. I thought he was just going to say Amorim again.
No, I was not saying. Well, Amorim, Amorim's in the Postecoglou things. It's so bad, we just put it to one side. I'm trying to look for people who I was really expecting to be better and hasn't. Slot seems a little bit he's not solving the problems, and that's what a manager needs to do. So I've got Pereira and Slot written down as I haven't really done what I expected this year. How about you?
Well, Slot's a funny one. So he obviously took over from Jurgen Klopp last year and won the title. And everybody goes, amazing, fantastic. He's won the title. But he's won the title essentially with none of his own players. Now, there's been a big move around in Liverpool this year, particularly around the front line and the fullback areas. He's bringing in his own players. So this is the first probably. I mean, I hesitate to say this is the first major challenge he's had because he's won the Premier League last year. But is there a sense, right? Seeing as you've raised this, is there a sense that last year he kind of just carried on that crest of a wave with Jurgen Klopp's side and rode that wave, and it got him to the Premier League title, and now actually this is his first big challenge because A, Liverpool look like they're underperforming, and B, they're doing it with 5 or 6 new players which he has brought in. They're his players. Is there a sense that this is his challenge, or is that unfair on the basis that he's won the Premier League?
No, I don't think it is unfair, actually. Essentially, you could say Klopp won the league last year. Also, I think the standard of competition last year wasn't particularly high. I think Liverpool were clearly the better team, the best team. Everybody else had a pretty terrible campaign. So, I think it's fair to say that. One of the things I've heard in the course of the last few days is, Liverpool are a team in transition. What? They've just won the Premier League. They've just spent 400 million quid on talent. Every team adds to their talent roster in the summer. This isn't a team in transition. This should be a team that's pulling away from the rest of the competition. And it isn't. And I think that's a very interesting point you make there, Nick, that actually, is this really Slott's level rather than last year?
Well, we don't. Yeah, this is it. I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see how he comes out of this sort of mini crisis, if you like. We'll see what happens with that. And if he responds well and they come back and in 3-4 weeks' time they're flying and winning games and all these new signings look like world beaters, I think we have our answer. I think we have our answer. But we don't know. It's an interesting point. As Vitor Pereira's got to be top of the list of massively underperforming managers last year. Came in, stabilised Wolves, kept them up, and everybody expects them to kick on. They've played 7. They haven't won a game yet. They've got 2 points from 2 draws. He was sent off after 20 minutes in the last game.
Yeah. That
tells you of somebody who's under massive pressure. He's got, unbelievably, in the middle of this bad run, he got offered he signed a new contract.
Haven't Wolves always got this kind of Portuguese thing?
Link. Yeah, they've had it. They've had it since the
super agent.
Super agent, yeah.
Yeah, it's always a bit. I don't like that. But anyway, that is. So we said at the top of the episode that this was going to be 30 minutes of Pulitzer Prize winning punditry. It's not. It's 42 minutes. We can gabble when we're on this subject. We can go on and on. But I hope you find it interesting. So next podcast is on Thursday or Friday. It might be tomorrow, it might be Friday. International breaks, we're only doing 3 a week. I hope you understand. We don't want to bore you, but there's still plenty of stuff to go through, as we found out today. So thank you for all those very interesting requests and letters and emails. Keep them coming. We love to receive them. So on that bombshell, it is a goodbye from me. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and same to you, Nick.
Thanks very much, Ken. Goodbye, everybody.
See you next time.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.